Every business owner has rough days. It's totally normal. This could also apply if you've got life goals. Maybe you don't own your own business, but you've got goals in business at work, or you have goals for your family or your finances. All of these things kind of touch on that. And I'm Amy. Tonight's Live About Five is to help you find your own resilience. I am someone who, just like you, has been through an awful lot in their life, and I've studied resilience and I've learned how to not only acquire it myself, but to share it with others. So that's what these videos are for. They're trying to help lift you up, give you clues into why you might be struggling with your resilience, just feeling maybe a little down or a little off, and how to encourage you to get back in the game, to really fight for yourself, and to make a life that is the life of your dreams. Now, everybody's been there, right? You've started a project or you own a business and things just aren't going exactly the way you thought they would, maybe, right? We've seen huge businesses experience this. Know you can think of a business right off the top of your head, but we know for a fact that a lot of small businesses really suffer. We also see people get into at-home businesses, specifically MLMs, and not really know how to navigate that and struggle there. I've been there. I was able to crack that code with the help of a couple of great coaches, and so I can lead you in the right direction. But one of the tricks there is recognizing that you actually have a business, that you actually have to work. And there are things about being an entrepreneur that aren't great. The first is the financial uncertainty. We've all been there before, right? But as a household of exclusively entrepreneurs here, it's certainly in our passion and our interest to achieve financial freedom. But along the way comes that financial uncertainty. So, what I do in those instances is I work very hard to budget out. I know when we have a year's worth of income that we can predict ahead of where we are. And that's when we start investing more. That's when we start doing projects. That's when we'll buy a car or something that obviously, if you need to buy a car, that's different. But we have certain rules about our road to financial freedom that weren't always rules that we had. We've been in bad financial trouble before, and we've worked our way out of it by establishing and growing businesses. But if that financial uncertainty is really hard for you, here's the trick. That's always going to be there. I have people who say, well, I want to get a regular job, so I always know I'll have a paycheck. It just doesn't work that way anymore. We all see massive layoffs, even in incredibly successful companies. And we all know at any given moment, at any given time, we could be let go from a stable job for a myriad of reasons. We know, unfortunately, now due to research, that bosses tend to keep people that they like. They tend to like people who are their buddies and things like that. So that's not always the case, but there's some good statistics out there to indicate that if you're not political at work, sometimes that's not going to be so great for you. So financial uncertainty is not, just exclusive to entrepreneurialism, but it's something to consider and to recognize that it might be putting a stress on you if you're experiencing that. There's also just a certain level of risk. We see people all the time try to start a business, especially a standalone business, and it doesn't work out. That's a risk. And you have to risk facing failure or humiliation or just letting your family down, letting yourself down, or losing something that's really important to you. But the risk is how you get the reward. So I want you to think really clearly about what you're willing to risk and only risk what you can, right? This is one of the things that we do in our investment analysis is that we work really hard to make sure that we've got a diverse portfolio, meaning we have money in different places, and not all the money is in something that's going to be particularly high risk, because that's often where you get the more rewards. So in your mind, think, well, what could I risk? I've got a couple of businesses that I work with. One you could start for under $300. One you can start for under $20. So in those cases, the risk isn't so high. It's the long-term outlay of time and effort that you might put out. So if you have time and effort to put in, but not a lot of money, there's some good opportunities out there for you. There's also some long hours potentially. I've really worked hard to minimize this, but I've honestly realized that it does take some focused effort over time. And there are businesses that I've worked really hard in the beginning and then been able to let them be residual, and businesses that still require that belly to belly work all the time. And so whatever those hours are, you want to make sure they align with your personal priorities. It's really important that you're not sacrificing your family only to make money so that you can spend time with your family, right? Or you really want to travel, so you're working really hard, but because you're working really hard, you never travel. So make sure in these instances that you're finding a good balance. It also can be very isolating. Part of my blessing is that we work together in entrepreneurialism in this house, but that's not always the case. And so if you are either living by yourself or living with someone who goes off to work every single day, and your business is especially online, it can be really isolating. If you're an extrovert, you're going to want to make sure that you find opportunities to network that are potentially in person. And if you're an introvert, you want to kind of push that a little bit because you might get too comfortable at home. And networking is a really big part of being an entrepreneur, right? Then there's the balancing work and personal life. And this is a problem no matter where we work. Some of my most beloved work in the nonprofit field led to terrible work-life balance. Especially when I worked with the Children's Hospital, there were events that I could have helped at probably 4 to 5 every single week, right? And I wasn't able to do every single event that came to us, but you want to encourage everybody that's looking to support a children's hospital. At the same time, it was really an unmanageable workload at the end of the day. So you just had to do your best. You had to be strategic. You had to stay in connection with your supervisor and make sure that you were doing what was most important. But especially as an entrepreneur, that can be difficult because it feels like you're always at work sometimes. That's why one of the things that I teach in my resilience workshops is bubble time. And bubble time is when you are only allowed to relax. You are only allowed to chill. You're not allowed to freak out about the budget. You're not allowed to work or answer a text or an email. You've got to have a couple of minutes every single week, a couple of hours every single week and every day, really, to have bubble time, or you're not going to be the person you were when you started that business. If this rings true to you, you can fix this. There's a point of what we call diminishing returns, where you're working on something so long you can't even see what's in front of you anymore. And taking a break can actually be productive. So I don't want you to confuse hustle culture with productivity or consistency. It's really important to realize that hustle can be the enemy. So have that balance. It's going to make you a better business person. There's also the uncertainty of the future of any business. I can assure you, Blockbuster never thought we were going to stop wandering those aisles on a Friday night, right? They had a chance to actually be purchased by Netflix, and they said no. They believed in their business model so much. So there's always this level of uncertainty. You've got to be flexible, but also realize there are some businesses that are just going to go the way of history. We see today that newspapers are kind of dying out. And to be honest, I love reading a real newspaper. So just know that that's okay. If you're a real entrepreneur, you're literally going to have a couple of 3 income streams at any given time. And you're going to be able to roll the knowledge, the experience, the contacts, and all the hard work you've done into something new and something different. That'll be equally amazing. Last but not least, there's competition. And this doesn't mean a saturated market, right? People will say all the time, oh, I think CBD is saturated. I think Young Living, I think essential oils and healthy living and low tox living is saturated. I find new people every single day that are interested in learning more. And I had no idea about any of that when I was approached by a friend in 2017 when I got sick with Bell's palsy. I said, if anybody has any ideas of what could help me, let me know. And my friend reached out and said, oh, do you know anything about Young Living? And I didn't. I joined the next day. And it changed my whole life. So there I was, this person just randomly commenting on Facebook. So just know that in terms of competition, you are your only competition. When you're really serving your audience, when you're really dialed into your true gifts, there's no one that can compete with you. You might be a massage therapist with 18 other massage therapists in a practice, but people are going to end up choosing you because of your particular set of skills. So recognize that competition will be there, but mentally stay strong about it. Despite these challenges, I think most entrepreneurs would never choose to go back to a regular 9 to 5. There's just too many attractive things about the lifestyle. It does take determination. It does take hard work. And I'm happy to answer any questions. If it's something that you've been thinking about getting into, I've been an entrepreneur for many years now. I've created 2 6-figure businesses, and we're working on scaling up to 7. And it's been a great joy. I've experienced all of these emotions, absolutely, as I bet you have, whether you work out of the home or as an entrepreneur at home. But I can recommend it highly. So if you'd like to talk more about starting your own business, you can just drop an emoji below, reach out to me. I'm happy to talk and answer any questions you might have. I can't wait to see you back here tomorrow live around 5. We've got another great topic that actually came from you all. So I'm super excited. I'm so grateful that you spend your time with me here. And I love you guys. Take care, and I'll see you tomorrow back here.